I had another big heating crisis. My pipeline blew up. I tell you, that's the dangers of wood heat is, man, your wood piles are always falling down, especially when you put them in between trees. I really thought that'd be a good idea, but it wasn't. They fall down and then you gotta restack them. This one's fallen down several times, but it seems like it's starting to stabilize. It's kind of leaning to one side. Oh well. That's all that wood that I told you about several times I got from this lady. It's been sitting on the ground like a gravel driveway for 2 years. So I wanted to get it off the ground so it started drying. Now it's back on the ground. I'd like for you to stick to the end on this video. Got some really exciting news that I want to share with you. And people have asked me to share this news when it started happening, so I would hope that you would stick around. But I'm going to come down here again and we're going to talk about chickens. I know that there are people who get frustrated that I talk about the same subjects all the time, but it's off-grid living. It's off-grid living. It's not like there's some new exciting event every day. There just isn't. People complain that they love my videos, but they want me to do something different or, you know, whatever. They don't love my videos. They're lying to themselves. What they're wanting me to do is create fiction so they can live in a fantasy world. I don't know why they do that. One starts to flap up there to get some speed, and the others start flapping, and it scares me that they're going to fly away. So this is a Buff Orpington. She's one of the oldest. We got 3 Buff Orpingtons. They're all the same age. Same age as Frenchie, our rooster, our oldest rooster. We've noticed that the Buff Orpingtons have stopped laying eggs. Now the New Hampshires are laying eggs, and you can tell. It's really easy to tell because you can see what's happening to them. If I can get close to her, you'll see that on top of her head and right on her wings, she's missing some feathers. And what's happening is the roosters get on top of her and claw her, and then they grab her back of her head with their beak and they pull out feathers. I can't imagine that feels any good. Well, the biggest problem I'm having is we got 2 roosters. Now I want 2 roosters to keep the bloodline different. I don't want Frenchie reproducing with his daughters. That's why we got 2 roosters. See, they're misbehaving. They keep going way up there. I got to keep an eye on them. We just learned that in the wintertime, some of the hens will stop producing. It's strange how this works. The Buff Orpingtons, we bought them all this year. We raised them all from chicks this year, but the Buff Orpingtons are the oldest. They were raised, we got them, I guess, in like March. So they started producing in the summertime. Well, they've had time to go through a molt, what's called a molt, where they lose their feathers and, well, it appears they have stopped producing eggs because they're not getting feathers ripped out of their head. So in the wintertime, we've learned that some of the chickens will stop producing. Well, others will start producing. Now, we studied this. We have enough hens that the 2 roosters won't abuse them. Here we are, we got 4 hens being abused because the others have stopped producing. The Americanas, some of the Americanas aren't even old enough to produce yet, I guess, or they seem like they should be old enough, don't get me wrong, they should be old enough. They're just not producing. Now, I have showed you that we've got 1 Americana that is producing eggs. It was a green egg. So the other Americanas, being the same age, should be producing as well, but they're just not. Man, I'm telling you, they just love to misbehave. I don't know why they think it's okay to go up this far. I have trained them repeatedly to stay down by the coop, but they just keep getting further and further away. So, and it's getting harder to scare them back. They don't want to go back. Get back down there. See, and the buffs, I've noticed, these little light colored ones, they will not listen. The others will listen a little bit. See, but the buffs, they just don't want to go back down there. They're just very bossy. So it looks like now we're getting about 5 eggs a day. So it's not 14, but by the springtime they all should be producing. So to go through the colors and the variations again, there's Frenchie, the white one there. He's the oldest male. The colored ones here are Americana hens. That's Rue, he's the other rooster out there by himself. This one here with the damaged feathers, you might be able to see the damaged feathers on her back. That's a New Hampshire. Now they're sort of like Rhode Islands. Rhode Islands are pretty famous. Everybody gets Rhode Islands. But the New Hampshires were actually produced at the same time. They just don't get the exposure or the popularity that the Rhode Islands give. And I like them. They're very friendly. A lot of people say they're aggressive, but they're probably the friendliest ones we got. Yeah, they're just all misbehaving. They're all doing what they're not supposed to be doing. So, I don't know. I guess it keeps me exercised. Make sure I get out here in the winter time. Yesterday, I forgot to let them out. About 2 o'clock. I try to go inside by 2 o'clock so I can get my video posted, and by 3 o'clock my time, the video posts, and then I start answering questions. Well, by 2 o'clock, I forgot I let the chickens out, so I came back out and let them out. I enjoy doing it. I know it seems like I complain a lot about it, but in the end, it's good activity for me. They sure are excited to get to come out, but they get up in these weeds and the trees, and I can't get them out of it. You would think they would just be happy to be out instead of being so. And they're eating this popcorn. We had a box explode, and I haven't gotten it all picked up. I've been trying to rake it. You can see that, well, Carolyn, I should say. I raked a little bit, but Carolyn did a lot of raking, and it just keeps blowing back, and we can't get it all picked up. So we'll get it eventually. Get out of there. So they're eating the popcorn. I'm sure that's not good for them. Get out of there. Now, one of the problems we're having, you'll see, well, I just saw it. You won't see it. They already stopped. Is the two roosters are getting frustrated with each other. And the reason is because the buffs stopped producing. Like I said, they'll start producing again in the springtime, but they stop producing. Now, the males will only reproduce with hens that are producing eggs. So I think right now we got 5 or 6 hens that are producing. That's not enough hens for the roosters. Now, if they had all stopped, the roosters wouldn't even be trying to mate with them. But since we only got 5, that's not enough hens for 2 roosters. It's a dilemma, and I'm not really sure how to resolve it because, I mean, other than get rid of Roo, I don't really want to get rid of Roo. First, he's really pretty. I really like his color. But 2 is, like I said, when we start reproducing these chickens, I want to make sure that we got different. It could cause problems having Frenchie reproduce with his daughters. Bad eggs, bad health, who knows? So I don't want to risk it. But I guess it's just part of the problem. We'll get it all resolved in the springtime. We don't have much more time left, and they'll start producing. Now, what we could do, if somebody's going to say, put a light in the coop. You could put a light in the coop, and they would all be producing. What happens is as the days get shorter, is the signal for the chickens to stop producing. But we don't want to overstress our chickens. We're going to get lots of eggs this summer, and that should give us plenty to get us through the winter. Carolyn's already making out her menu for the summertime. We're going to really cut back on our meat products. I mean, I've been telling you this, that we've been trying to cut back on carbohydrates, and we're trying to increase our meat intake. Lots of good benefits, mental health benefits, diet, weight, all of it. But the problem is, of course, meat's so expensive. Well, we got all these chicken eggs. So Carolyn is looking at how she can reduce the amount of meat she cooks each day without the carbohydrates, the breads and the noodles, rice, and potatoes that are high in carbohydrates. We'll use eggs. Here's the thing about the eggs is, like, for example, I'll eat peanut butter in a sandwich, and I'll have to have 2 or 3 of them in one day because there's so much carbohydrate and sugar in all that. But I'll have 3 eggs and I'll be fine for the rest of the day. And sometimes at supper come around, I'm like, man, I'm not really that hungry. It really reduces the amount of food you have to eat. This is a huge cost savings. As you may know, we eat popcorn every evening while we watch Netflix. And it's just been a really good treat for us. It's a nice snack. Well, since we started this new diet, we've noticed that we're not wanting as much popcorn. We're just full. We couldn't eat popcorn. So instead of eating 2 servings, I mean, Carolyn makes 2 servings, one for me, one for her. She's been making 1 serving later in the evening. We used to be, we'd cook it at 5 o'clock and we start watching our TV. Now we may not cook it until 7 or 8 o'clock. I suspect that eventually we're going to just stop eating it altogether. It's just more money and a waste of money. So it really is saving us money, just not by eating as much. We really feel healthier. Now for the exciting news. I've been telling you that the Americanas produce colored eggs. And what that means is we'll be able to sell the eggs this summer, assuming we want, we don't eat them all, which will buy us chicken feed and pig feed. We could actually completely pay for our feed for the chickens and the pigs with chicken eggs. The Americana eggs go for more money because you could hard boil the egg, and then you get up in the morning and say, hey kids, what egg do you want? Well, I want blue, I want green, or whatever. Well, the other day I showed you that we got a green egg, and I didn't think you'd be able to see the color variation in the camera, but many of the commenters said they could see the color variation. Well, good news last night. Now, I've had some eggs this morning, so our carton's almost empty here. Carolyn and I had some eggs for lunch. But what we got here is we have one egg with every color variation that we currently have, except for the Buff Orpingtons, because they stopped producing. So you can see we got the tan, the dark brown, or what do you want to call it, the lighter brown, tan. Then we got the green egg, that's the one you saw the other day. Now here, I'm worried again, you may not be able to see the color variation, but this is a blue egg. So that means another Americana started laying eggs. So to me, it's very blue, very pretty. I don't know if you're gonna see that in the camera. Carolyn had a hard time seeing it last night when I brought it up. She just didn't see the color difference. But this morning, when we got it under sunlight, under this natural cloudy light, I should say, she could easily see the difference. So we got another Americana producing. This is exciting. So I hope I can inspire you to have fun activities when you're living your dream. Thanks for watching.